Welcome back, you giggling gals. It's time to gallivant our way through Calandra. We're on episode 2 of our deep dive of Shield. No, we're not. We're on episode 3 of our deep dive of Shield of Sparrows by Devney Fairy. Warning. While we may be your giggle and gal pals, we don't recommend listening to this podcast around little ears or ears that may be offended because we say bad words and shitty things. Oh, it's on to me.
Yeah.
While covering this book, just know there will be spoilers for the entire book in each episode. So please stop what you are doing and go back and finish the book if you haven't already. Also, you're crazy if you haven't. Reminder that thoughts, feelings, theories, and just things that we say can evolve, change, or be debunked, or just be completely off the rails. Regardless, it's all for fun. It's not that deep.
So you guys, do you think, important question, do they fart in fantasy books? You know what? I'm bringing it to social.
This is exactly what I want to represent us.
Mm-hmm. Do people fart in fantasy books? I'm writing it down. I'm taking notes because this is an educational fucking podcast.
Perfect. You know, on that note, let's relax those shoulders, unclench those jaws, clench that clam, and begin our journey.
Chapter 15. Odessa felt like an old-ass biddy. Her neck, her back, her just like that, was so sore, but not in a fun way. They rode through the dark-ass forest at night. No light in the sight. No light in sight. No light in the sight, okay?
Besides, that works, but not, I mean, it's not grammatically correct, but you're not wrong.
Right. See, I'm usually not. Besides the twin moons, the Guardian was in front of the pack, blazing the trail. Portland Trail.
Not blazing on the trail.
No.
No token up.
Blazing the trail. You know, he might be blazing. That's why he's so far in front.
That's why he goes so fast. He's just so high.
He's just so high. And that man didn't even need a torch. Yeah, because he's blazing. God damn it. Because he eats so many carrots, his eyesight is impeccable. I mean, that's just my guess. Odessa added it to her notes on her phone as a list of his powers, considering she couldn't really offer much to her father about the train because she was lost as fuck. She wondered if that was what the Turins intended.
Okay, I love that you put added to her notes in her phone as a list of his powers, and then I didn't read your paragraph because literally right below I started listing his powers.
See?
Okay, so some of the things he can do, like he can see at night. He's apparently blazing. Jump far.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he can swim fast. I'm gonna assume he can fight monsters. Like, what else can he do?
Well, something about reading minds. Something there.
Which we'll get to that. Because I originally wrote, based on the powers he has, do they match up or align with any shades? But I don't think that anymore. So, because I had a different question that we'll get to at the end of this. My thought, see, this is how quickly our thoughts can evolve. Like in 8 chapters, I went from asking this question to a completely different one.
It happens a lot here, folks. Welcome to ADHD. Undiagnosed.
Be prepared for some changes.
Yeah, we do that.
Changing.
I was just thinking that.
Of course you were. Why wouldn't you? Because I was.
Xavier asked her if she was okay, and she gave a standard girl answer, I'm fine, when in reality she felt like dying. The Guardian took off in a run, and Odessa's like, fuck. But Xavier was like, no stresses, babe. They're going to set up camp. No rushies. He also gives her insight that the coastal forests are thick with grizzers, and they can't see great in the night. So that's when it's safe to travel through area by night. Grizzers, just like us. Millennial gals that can't see at night. We also learned that Tura is the largest of the 5 kingdoms. 4 times the size of Quintus, though it had half the number of peeps. It's big as fuck. Essentially, like a Montana for your U.S. people.
Okay, before you even go into anything. Millennial gals that can't see at night. Why is that the truest fucking statement that in this entire podcast?
No, like my eye doctor was like, you've been driving like this at night? I'm like, yeah, for 7 years. What's your point?
I don't think I know anybody that has great vision. I deny that mine's bad, but...
Well, you have no fault.
I exercise my eyes every day.
Okay, but it's true. Millennials can't see. We all have stigmatisms in our eye.
I think that's a poll. Are you a millennial? How's your eyesight? Is it good or bad?
Millennial eyesight. I hope our our followers get used to these questions.
Honestly, I love polls. I love to vote in polls. So I
Me
don't know
too.
why more people don't.
So I fucking love this book. And I love Devney Perry, but every time I read Grizzer, I think of Parks and Rec and the social media company Grizzle. I just picture Devney sipping on a purple drink in the middle of writing a book and being like, damn, what if I just call these monsters a Grizzer? Like, that's what I picture.
Fuck, when you said that, I just was thinking like the monsters are just running around Tara. Like, see, I
Right.
do it every time now. Tara, providing free Wi-Fi.
See?
I think you're onto something. Like, this is really, if you read it in the Parks and Recs tone, this whole book, it's just a big joke.
And you just picture Tom in the back. Treat yourself.
I was looking up that GIF yesterday. So.
Did you?
So Odessa thinks, like, at one point when they're, on their journey, I can't imagine attempting to go over those peaks. I've never seen mountains like that before. So massive, so tall, they kiss the sky. Maybe they do kiss the sky. Maybe they lead to the stairway to heaven. I had to make the joke. I had to. But what if they did, like, lead up there? There's, like, the elevator
Mm-hmm.
to the next world. It's all glass.
An elevator? You think that's what we're doing though? Is an elevator?
Sure, why not?
Okay.
Why not take a big swing?
You know, I appreciate big swings.
I'm not married to the elevator.
So that theory could evolve and change, is what you're trying
It
to say.
can. But I think, like, there is something to be said about how tall those peaks are.
Odessa was soups tired, but she willed herself to stay up by trying to memorize anything that could be considered a landmark, so she could help her Faja. They reached the camp. Why did I say that? They reached the camp and they noticed there was a lot of fires being lit. They're all blazing. She made it to her tent and yay!
They all were blazing this round. Everybody gets it.
And yay, there's a bathtub. The guardian made his entrance by tugging on her braid, which, why does every fantasy guy, they love a tug on the hair stitch?
It's so sexual. It is so sexual.
I'm like,
okay, guardian, I'm over here.
I felt like John almost like really hurt my neck once by doing that, though. I just want to say that.
I got a strong scalp.
They have their little back and forth, and of course, he throws in her face that her and Xavier aren't boning. He teases her by asking if she needs help washing her hair. Always the hair. She learns she has 2 days to rest, but they'll train tomorrow. The rest of the journey will be difficult. She asks him if he could tell Xavier that she'd like to speak to him later in private. She says if he doesn't send him in here, she'll find his tent herself. The guardian tells her, feel free to walk into mine. Xavier likes to share. She tries to convince herself she doesn't want the guardian, but who's she kidding? His eyes change real quick, and our girl definitely wants him. Eye color check-in. He studied me like he was reading every thought that passed through my mind. His eyes shifted from hazel to green. The green spread slowly, chasing away the other shades. It bloomed like the heat beneath my skin. It's heating up!
I'm going to collect everything and compile it at some point. But Xavier likes to share, which we learn later.
Mm-hmm.
I got so excited for a why choose moment. I really do love a good why choose, love a good gangbang. Like, let's go for it. And I don't. In a book, it's fine. So I love how Plate of Prisoner started out with a big old orgy. If you haven't read that, apparently I'm supposed to warn people because I didn't warn one person and they didn't continue the book.
They didn't? Oh, yeah. Yeah, I gotcha. I know. I got it now. Yeah, when they talk about, when she makes a comment about he studied me like he was reading every thought, there's been like 5 of them already about like, can you read my mind? And maybe this is a little Onyx Storm.
I have a theory that I wrote down later and I know.
Did you?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So
shut your pretty little mouth. We'll get to it.
I thought you were going to say your little whore mouth, but I'll take that too.
Oh God, I was too nice to you. Like,
it's rare.
I know. Like, you didn't even say shut your slut mouth. That, yeah.
Can't shut me up. So she says no, and then is saved by the bell by Brielle walking in. Odessa dismisses the guardian, and as soon as he leaves, she notices the air instantly felt thinner, cooler, easier to breathe. Captain Obvious, Brielle, tells her she needs to be careful around him. He's dangerous. They discuss that they think that they rode at night so they wouldn't know where they were going and how that the Turns don't trust them. She almost fell asleep in the bath, but a vicious roar ripped through the campsite. The prince was right. In Tura, it was safer at night.
The dramatic pause. It was safer at night.
That's because I was like, wait, is that what I was supposed to say? But it is.
When I picture their baths, I honestly don't know why, but I picture like a barrel and they're like just curled up in it. And I know that's not right, but that's literally, I feel like that's really convenient to travel with.
Just rolling with my homies in your little bath.
Yeah, like they're not bringing a clawfoot tub, are they?
Well, I don't know. This one's, I think, copper is what they said. So I was like, wow, copper?
That's pretty heavy. Heavy? Heavy's
It's heavy. It's a heavy.
It's a heavy.
It's a heavy tub. Grab scrub dub in the heavy tub.
So I guess it's not a copper barrel. But I do picture a wooden barrel.
I don't know. Copper barrel just reminded me of Cracker Barrel, and then I just left the station for a sec.
I fucking love Cracker Barrel.
I've never had it.
Chapter 16. Resty rest was not happening for our girl. Between being paranoid and Brielle was in her bed, talking in her sleep, snuggling Odessa, saying, "Miss you," Odessa's mind was a runaway train, and she starts wondering who it could be that she misses, but then she remembers they weren't friends, and that she has none. Not one. Zero, zero, zero. Done. People were only her friends for Kingdom Goss, but she realized that they were fake biatches. May, on the other hand, was a sneaky snake, blackmailing her collective peasants to keep them in line. Her friends were super cool and nice. They called her a cunt and a whore. She was really into Erica Jane's How Many Fucks Do I Give at the time. Highly recommend that song, by the way. I like to sing it to my husband. Odessa liked being kind of a loner. She would sneak off from Flag Boy the second she could from engagements, and for once, she didn't want to be alone. She was feeling a little desperate because she considered being friends with Brielle and that bitch Jocelyn. Jocelyn pumped the brakes on the runaway train by bringing in food. Okay, that bitch Jocelyn just thrusts food into her hands, sounding a little passive-aggressive to me. Also, we should have known that she was suspicious because we had no idea, like, where she went here. She just gave a curtsy and then left her alone. Like, she's a shifty son of a gun.
I feel like Jocelyn's been a bitch the whole time. Like, there isn't, like, any time where she's not a bitch.
It's almost like Brielle has been distracting her, like being nicer, engaging with her, kind of like being her handmaiden, like she's supposed to be, while Jocelyn is off, like running amok, being a whore.
I feel like Jocelyn just, obviously, not a girl's girl. Sucks,
No.
right? Bitch-tastic. All the above.
Yes.
But Brielle, and obviously, she was fucking her fiance. I get it. But Brielle's just more of a pick-me to her. Like, I don't think Brielle's ever, like, really intentionally tried to fuck Odessa over. It's just, like, she's weepy and cryy all the time.
She's a crier, and it's just, like, too
like, yeah, it's too much for me.
like,
I would.
yeah, you're in a new country. You're like, you've been removed from your family, your friends, and the life that you knew. You're surrounded by monsters now. Like, cry me a river.
Your lover got engaged to a princess and now isn't.
So she decided that walking and eating was the best option instead of being in her presence because she went on a hot girl walk. She noticed it was looking like a Snoop Dogg concert at the camp. There were a lot of fires. Smokey the Bear would not approve. Tilia has sneaky feet because she popped up behind Odessa and saying, "Highness," but Odessa's like, "Bitch, it's Odessa." She realized Tilia is there to babysit. Babysit. No one likes to hear they need a babysitter when they don't need a fucking babysitter. So Odessa thinks there hadn't been a guard on the ship. There hadn't been a need. And stupid me, I thought maybe there wouldn't be a need in Tara. Oh, dear sweet summer child. Like, where could you go on that ship? You didn't need a babysitter on a boat.
They weren't worried about you jumping in with the marrow eels. Like, what are you?
To be fair, she didn't technically jump in. She just kind of like,
whoop. They weren't worried about it.
Yeah.
I wasn't meaning that. Like, Odessa, she's just in her own world. Especially prior, she just cast to the side. So she's a little slow at the upkeep sometimes. She's not on the up and up.
Her elevator hasn't made it to the top floor yet.
It hasn't needed to.
Yeah.
She's just mhm. It's, like, in between floors.
The Guardian will fix it for
She
her.
just has to hit that button.
Well, he's pressing her buttons. He hasn't pressed the right one yet. I'm glad we're thinking the same thing.
Like, I know what button you're talking about.
They start discovering Jesus Christ. They start discussing travel plans, like how they are going to Elder next. Odessa tries to figure out how far they have to travel, but the Turins aren't new to this rodeo. Tilia just says far. Odessa fucks up by asking, ugh, and is Elder where we'll pick up supplies before continuing on to Alisaria? Then Tilia's brown eyes turn instantly wary and her expression hardened. Perhaps. Alisaria is truly Fight Club. Like, no one talks about it, and everyone wants it.
What the fuck is happening in Alisaria? Like, I have questions.
I mean,
Everybody does.
I have one question. How dare you? She shoves her foot in her mouth and tries again with asking about the roar earlier when the Guardian appears, so Tilia takes the opportunity to Irish goodbye. Odessa is annoyed by the Guardian's existence, so she decided to continue on her adventure. She notes his eyes were emerald green every time she looked back. We're just adding emerald eyes to the Guardian's mood board.
Mhm.
What's wrong with me? Odessa asked G Money about the roar earlier. I was testing it out and I don't think I feel it.
I don't like it.
No, we just
No, you tried.
I tested it. It
You
wasn't
took a
right.
swing. You took a swing. It didn't work out.
Yeah, it was a failure. It's fine. So Odessa asked the Guardian about the roar earlier, and he tells her it's a grizzur and what's wrong with me, and that they are in their territory.
I mean, that one was my fault.
Turns out the Guardian took that bitch out, so Odessa asked to see it. It is described as its bear-like frame lay prone on its belly, its massive body was covered in coarse cinnamon fur, along the spine jutting through the thick, wiry hair were spikes as long as my arm. They were as white as snow and as pointed as the Guardian's sword. They angled in all directions, some curving to the sides, others aiming straight. The monster's snout was longer than any bear's, double the size. That's a big bitch. Its black nose was shiny and wet. Its mouth was open, revealing teeth that didn't form neat rows. Instead, like the spikes on its back, they jutted at odd angles. And the Guardian managed to almost take its head off. It missed it. Here, he missed it by a few threads. So I picture the Grizzers to look like the bear outside of Grizzly River Run. At California Adventure, Disney, like for people that don't know. Even though I literally just read the description, my brain's like, no. He looks
You-
like the one outside of Grizzly
With
River
a
Run.
life jacket on?
The bear that has no name? Yeah.
Yeah. With a life jacket. That's a grizzur to you?
Yeah, that's exactly what I picture.
I don't, but I get it.
Why does my brain do that? I literally just read a fucking description and it says
And I
absolutely
mean,
not.
Devney has literally posted what they look like.
But my brain says no, it's got a hat on. After looking at it, she tells the Guardian she wants her sword. He tells her that she looks like shit and to get some rest. Then he tells her we ride at dawn, as in training. He asks if she can find her way back to her tent. She was like, fucking duh, I'm not a dummy. Except she didn't want to admit that it would take her a while, so she kind of was. That's when Xavier and 3 of his homies race off away from the camp. The Guardian follows them too. She knows she should be a super spy, but she's not that. She still went to bed, but not to sleep. There's a part that says, I stared at the monster for another long moment, marveling at its size. It shouldn't have been beautiful, not a beast so terrifying, yet I couldn't seem to tear my gaze away. Like, she finds every monster beautiful. So
Which is
far.
interesting because the middle child Scorpios made a point to create the monsters even more vicious and even more beautiful, is what it was said. But why is she so drawn to them? I was just saying she always wants to see them. Like, and I get being curious. She's a little Alice in Wonderland, but like,
But she's the only one that describes them still as beautiful. Like, that's how they were created, but everybody else just describes them as, like, nuisances.
like calls to like. Chapter 17. Odessa's in Fight Club with the Guardian as her teacher, and that fucker can hear everything. Not one mutter is safe. He tells her straight, but she's short and slow, so she has no chance outrunning anything. She deadpans, thanks. I was certain I wouldn't hear any compliments today. Then we're blessed with one of our favorite lines in the whole book. Praise is for the bedroom cross, not the training ring. Of course, her brain goes wild picturing things that she shouldn't be picturing. And then, of course, he casually drags his hand through his hair. Not attractive at all.
He
Eaten
knows
up.
he knows his hair looks sexy pushed back.
Mhm.
I love that she's sarcastic. She literally deadpans 3 times in the book. Don't worry, I looked it up. But the comment that had her thinking slutty little thoughts about the Guardian shirtless, whispering praise, which leads to the eye color check-in. The story said the evil glint in the Guardian's hazel eyes said I wasn't going to have the chance to enjoy the view. Like, I don't think it was an evil glint, girlfriend, but a lustful one.
It's easier to label as evil, so she won't want him. Maybe she's
Denial.
biggest river
Like
in
the river in Egypt.
So stupid. So dumb.
I fucking hate us.
He tells her how to defend herself and gives her some directions. She starts having murderous thoughts, as one does. Murder and sex. Fine line. She realizes she probably could never kill him, and the Guardian's mouth twitched like you read the realization right on her dang face. They keep training, and it's a great montage that we often see on our screens with the teacher yelling, faster, harder, again. Now, actually, what I described sounds like a porno, but Mr. Miyagi isn't that. They keep fighting. It gets intense. He calls her out when she says she doesn't want to be the queen and really gets her good with, so you'd rather rot in a golden castle, withering away to nothing while your family forgets your existence? You were nothing to them. Your father gave you away without so much as a blink. Your sister puts on a show of bidding you goodbye, but I wager she's already in your fiancé's bed. A man who also lets you go without a fight? And don't you have a little brother? Did they even let you say goodbye? He's fucking ruthless. True, but ruthless.
True, but ruthless.
In here it says, Isaac had brought me to his shade, hell. Just a little note about shades to put in your back pockets. Then another thing, Quentins are usually better at running away than fighting. When have the Quentins ran from the fight? What history do we not know?
I bet you that asshole Samuel Hay knows.
Probably does.
Which we don't think he's an asshole, I think
No.
is accurate. But
We just call everyone assholes.
right now she's mad at him and
Yeah.
he's an
So,
asshole.
and we're girls, so we're on her side.
Absolutely.
Even though she's wrong, but that's okay.
We support.
We support her wrongness. So you keep on bringing up that if the Guardian can read minds, and I just wonder if his insight about May putting on a show is true. We're reduting? I'm Andy.
Rooting.
I'm Andy from The Office now, but we are rooting for a
You're
redemption.
scatting right now?
Yes. We're rooting for a redemption arc, but maybe she was just faking it all along.
I just don't trust Odessa, but I mean, I just don't trust May. Maybe the Guardian can read intentions, which is, I think, where you were going earlier.
Yeah.
That's why I told you to shut your pretty little mouth.
Thanks.
And not minds, but he can read people in some way. Like, how else could he call up that shit about her family? Like, when they were at the docks, or the look he gave her, like when the king was reminding her of her duties before she left. Like, maybe he's got like good hearing, can read intentions, something. He can read people.
Well, like I think I said in the last episode of like how we can read a room. If he had that and then what happens to him, it just intensifies. It would make sense.
Yeah. I think he's definitely a reading.
He's a reading, and I love a good read, you know? He's like the Phaedra of Calandra.
Which, you guys, she's back on Real Housewives of Atlanta. It made my husband very happy.
I miss traitors.
I do too.
Female rage made its appearance as she tells him she hates him through her mind, and a slow grin stretched across his face. There's my queen. She attacked and attacked hard. She ended up on her knees, feeling hopeless and feeling like a loser. The Guardian tells her to get up, but Xavier's voice popped up and said, enough. The Guardian's like, it's enough when I say. And then he said, it's enough when I say. She's had enough. I made that more dramatic than it really was. The Guardian makes his exit, Avi pissed. Xavier lets her know that he's leaving for Paris, and she will continue on with Tilia and the others to Elder. They say their goodbyes, and once she makes it back to her tent, she finds a warm bath and an apple. She absolutely refused to Absolutely. She absolutely refused to think who arranged for them both.
Words are hard.
Mhm. And I'm not fully on board, back to what we were saying, that he can mind speak or read minds, which, as you know, is a quality of some of our favorite book boyfriends of all time. But I am totally into it. Like, I'd enjoy it if he was.
What if there's some like blood exchange where they can like share their thoughts or something and that's how they do
Mm.
it?
That's how
That's
we
like
do it
dramatic,
here on.
but
Yeah.
I love that he left an apple for Odessa. Who would have thought an apple would be like so sexual in this story?
The
Because
Bible.
when the I said it in this story, bitch.
Okay. But that
You
was
were
actually
cute.
really on point. The apple is.
You're not wrong. You are not wrong.
Okay, sorry, go.
But the Guardian was eating that apple like so seductively. Like that was a little whore mouth. He's just a scandalous man, and that's why he left it in her bath so she could be reminded of him.
It's very Reese, eating an apple up against a tree, just being a cool little beezy.
What do you picture the Guardian wearing like a majority of the time? Like, which speaking of, when I say this, I'm gonna tell you a story after. Like occasionally I'll picture him in a loincloth. That's not what he wears, but occasionally I do.
That's the Bible.
Chapter 18. The current camping location is against some rocks, not so exposed.
Absolutely.
Not so exposed, but felt hella ominous. If that isn't foreshadowing, then I don't know what is. It doesn't help that Xavier and 6 of his rangers are off gallivanting and probably not giggling. The Guardian is gone too. There is no nice beds, no tents, just jagged ass rocks to sleep on. Fires were blazing again, and there were clicks echoing through the dark that had been going on for hours when someone yells, "On your left!" There are roars, growls, people shouting numbers. It gets super quiet and turns out all 36 warriors are still alive. Good for them. But let's talk gods for a second. It's mentioned, I stared up at Amma and Oda's stars and the shades of the 6 in between, from white to gray to black. The night sky had never been so clear, so beautiful. Did it make Turans closer to the gods that they could see the stars and the shades so openly? And there is in no way this is a throwaway line. Tara is different from everywhere else. Maybe it's those high mountains with the elevator. Who knows?
Who knows? I agree. It's definitely different. And we will be exploring the shades not only in this book, but I think the rest of the series.
I agree.
I think it may all come back to Alisaria, but I have a feeling that we may be visiting shades in the upcoming books.
Yeah, we're gonna continue talking about this in this episode.
We sure will.
Those clicks are bear wolves, and clicking is how they communicate. Brielle is crying about going home. Shouldn't have said yes to this mission then, bitch. Odessa is too nice and apologizes for the situation. The 3 of them, that bitch Jocelyn is there too, get some sleep when a roar wakes up Odessa. It's a grizzer this round. Tilia is HBIC and taking control of the sitch, yelling what to do. Odessa grabbed her knife so she could have the illusion of safety. Brielle is praying, her prayer specifically saying, "Praise Amma, beloved mother, save us this night, or bring us to the shores of starlight. Grant us quick deaths, Isaac. Let us rest upon Oda's golden rays and no peace, dear Kareen." Just so we understand what their panic prayers sound like.
Anything God related, we're paying very close attention to. So we know Devney is a nugget gal. So yes, she's world building, but she's very intentional. So any little comment about gods or making note or compiling, we're theorizing. So
We're compiling it so you don't have to. We got this.
see, educational and helpful.
There were tremors, and not from the 1990 movie, from this big ass grizzer, and then its next roar was cut short. Coolio's Gangster's Paradise starts playing in the distance. As I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I take a look at my life and realize there's nothing left. As the Guardian walks through the flames with swirling metal eyes, asserting his dominance with Odessa and making eye contact. I did that in one breath. Note that the Guardian had warrior eyes on, aka silver or swirling metal, the same color as his gleaming silver sword.
You said swirling metal, and I'm instantly thinking of Lulu and his metal eye.
Just nicknaming Lucian Lulu. That's
That's
fine.
his name.
Yes, Lulu. That's what everyone calls him.
That's what I've called him the whole time.
Because we weren't sure how to say Lucian.
No, I know, because that's my grandpa's name.
Oh. So the whole camp is just tickled pink with his arrival. Odessa is just watching the Guardian like a creep while he talks to Tilia. The runaway train brain of hers starts assuming him and Tilia are, canoodling, bringing an al dente noodle to the spaghetti house, playing slap and tickle, fucking. And it smells like jealousy up in this bitch. Brielle whines more, and so Odessa says everyone needs to rest. Team Lady Maids goes to sleep, but Odessa is still away, and the Guardian, in a gentle, sexy voice, asks his queen if she is all right. She confirms it was a grizzer and that he killed it. He's like, duh, baby girl. He's like, duh, baby girl. The grizzer bought a one-way ticket to my gun show. He then tells her goodnight, and then Odessa actually gets some sleep. When she woke up at sunrise, she saw the grizzer and the milky white eyes, foam at the corners of its mouth, and dark green blood. But clearly they just have rabies if they're just going rogue and foaming at the mouth. Like, that's my thought process.
Michael Scott needs to set up a run for Radies and Tura.
I am not running a marathon, Tara. No Tara for me.
No Tura. There will be no Turaing. I'll have pasta, or I'll be like Stanley and I'll go get margaritas instead.
I think Odessa. I think Odessa is catching the nasty bug, the feels.
I think so too, which there's nothing worse, as girls that don't like to catch feels.
It is a nasty bug. Like, I've had it for 15 years.
It's honestly so embarrassing.
It's a lifelong disease. It's awful.
Because men suck, but then I really like one.
I don't even like him. I just have to keep him in my life. There's just this magnetic pull that I need him.
So obnoxious, but he buys you books.
I know, like crazy. He's addicted to spending money. I'm not gonna argue this.
Chapter 19. Odessa was poisoned by a scullery maid with fennel tusk power, allegedly, when she was lucky number 13. She slipped it in her morning tea and later admitted to being paid by a nobleman that had fallen behind on debt payments to the king. This nobleman apparently loved to gamble and thought a royal death could stall it. Instead of the two were hung for their crimes against our poor little wallflower. Our poor little wallflower princess. She spent a week trying not to die. The doctors were shooketh that she didn't die because the powder was twice as toxic as the venom of any snake.
So, interesting little tidbit. Odessa thinks, to my knowledge, the doctor still didn't know how I'd survived the poison. The powder was twice as toxic as the venom from any snake, but my body had fought the fever and somehow I'd lived. And Blake is about to take us to Fennec School, but interesting that she was able to survive, almost like she is special or gifted somehow, or maybe she was wearing that necklace. Maybe.
Fennec School. Rare monsters that were fox-like that were hunted to nearly extinction hundreds of years ago. As monsters go, they're the king of the littles. People realize that the grinding the tusk of Fennec became one of the most deadly of poisons on the continent. For a pretty penny, it could be bought on the black market. So let's think of it. Why did the Fennec not kill her? Is there something in her blood that makes it able to fight it?
Or is it, the like calls to like situation? It knows, same brand, don't kill her.
Yeah, almost like an antidote.
Almost like she escapes death by monster every time. I mean, she's 2 for 2.
And
the mirror wheel.
We know from Onyx Storm, learning about poisons and stuff like scorpion tail poisons, you can use that same poison as an antidote. So maybe whatever is in her bloodstream, when you have the poison of a monster that should kill you, maybe it doesn't, because that's what she's like, already has it in her.
I think you're onto something with this. This wasn't like a throwaway situation.
No.
Definitely something to mark and pay attention to and dive into later once we get more information.
Also, do we actually think it was the scullery maid and paid off by a nobleman?
No.
No.
I don't.
No. So what are you thinking?
Of lies.
Yeah. Who are you thinking actually did it?
What if it was a boss brother? A boss brother? Like, he's the fucking
Boss
water.
brother?
A bosster? I keep calling boss,
Maybe it was her dad.
Yeah, you know, that is a high probability just because there are the rumors, which we get into, like,
A little bit.
literally, like, in the next chapter or so about him killing attempting to kill her mother.
Or maybe it's Margot to take away the threat of the daughter. Which daughter would be queen?
Or Margot was just trying to, like, sacrifice her just so she didn't have to, like, fulfill something.
So many
Trying to just do
options.
something nice, kill her in her sleep, you know? Just help her
Mhm.
out.
Yeah. So this journey was freaking long, and she was absolutely miserable. They were definitely doing the opposite of glamping, and it was long ass hours. My back could never. Tilia let her know that plans changed and they're now stopping in Trio instead, which Odessa had no idea where that was. When they took a break, she started sketching the mountains, but Tilia told her to put it away and not let anyone see her with it again. She wasn't sure why, but she understood the severity of the tone, so she would just have to start on her map later. Odessa had lost her appetite and had become a slave to her intrusive thoughts. She was dwelling away about everything. By the way, I think I said slave to her thoughts because we said toxic so many times above, and my brain, slave for you, toxic. Just want to get that up there.
I think I would use the word overprotected at one point, and
Mm,
I thought Britney Spears as well.
yeah, okay, perfect. She was dwelling away about everything her lady maids, Xavier and his disinterest, the finicky gods, how bad she smells, and the fucking guardian. Or fucking the guardian. Cheering in the front happened, and a man that was one of the Rangers shot at Delia, and they kissed. So, she isn't boning the Guardian. Noted. The show of love made Odessa catch a case of the sads. She was in her feels that she would never have the type of love and exchanged a loveless engagement to a loveless marriage. She asked Brielle if she had ever been in love, and she said yes, but he broke my heart. The four has a shadow. A whistle was heard in the distance, and as they got closer, she realized they finally made it to Trio. Trio, essentially a treehouse town built in a forest.
Okay, because the word meow,
Mm-hmm.
I just keep reading it as trow.
Trio!
Like, it's the worst part. Like, in my mind, it's like different variations because meows aren't consistent.
Yeah, no, I get that. Trio!
It's just a cat treehouse.
It is. So let's do some little monster insight. The Tarkins live out in the boonies by Trio. Beowulfs, which is kind of funny because Tarkins are like lion-like, and so they're meowing. Beowulfs occasionally like to visit. Grizzers are coastal and plains girlies. Merowils are from the depths of the Merixamore. Was that what it was called? Or
Maris
did I?
more?
Yeah, I know. But Marin Morris Ocean, but couldn't afford rent in this economy, so they moved to the Crescent Crossing. You wrote that.
I would never.
Fennecs are little guys, are close to extinction, and are rare in Calandra. Crux is the scariest of the scaries.
I just wanted to keep it for the monsters, so that's why I added the extra, just so we had the list of all 6.
Yeah.
The 6 of the scaries.
Thank you for that. I was just, yeah. I was just doing the ones mentioned. She climbed up the ladder to her treehouse and she found a warm bathtub. She found a warm bath. I mean, it'd be a bathtub, but it'd be warm. But it sounds like it's just the bathtub that's warm, like the copper is warm.
She's just gonna have a warm barrel.
She's got a warm barrel. That's copper.
Yeah,
And
normal.
she started stripping down, but nay, the Guardian had other plans. I mean, he probably wanted her to strip down. The Guardian's beard was trimmed close to the jaw, and his hair was damp like he'd just had a bath. Odessa thinks to herself, he was the most beautiful man I've ever seen. Note.
Once again, another monster.
Mm, emerald green eyes. She asked him, why is he here? And he says he has a few questions to ask. He asks her, where is her home? She responds, Roslo, in a quite annoyed way.
His eyes were that vivid emerald green when he was in her treehouse.
Mm-hmm.
And then another question, like, what if the Guardian is like a truth sayer? He did interrogate her and called her out for lying about spying for Daddy-O. Like, maybe he has excellent hearing and is a truth sayer of some sort. So, like, maybe people talk quietly under their breath for him to hear, like, when Xavier's not speaking. Who knows?
Yeah, or just like the intention too, because that could be true Sarah in its own way. If you could just tell, like, you're trying to mislead me, you little liar.
Exactly.
So he's got some type of ability, no doubt.
Chapter 20. Odessa gets her rope ladder back. Good for her. She heads down because she is big hungry. She says good morning to her keeper, Tilia, and Tilia corrects her with it's afternoon, dog. She gets the tour of where to eat and whatnot. We learn Trio is
It's like
run more like an
symmetry.
encampment than a village. Got it. Most of the people who stay here are just passing through. Some stay longer than others, like Halston and Tilia, but most are soldiers and their families traveling between fortresses. So the king provides for their meals and such, which is similar to what King Cross does for his soldiers. Tilia starts telling her about the merchant and they can request things from Paris or Elder when Odessa says the taboo word, Alisaria, yet again. And Tilia's smile dims and things shift. Halston shows up, so Odessa starts looking at some kids just living their best lives, but they saw Odessa and thought stranger danger and ran off. I love what that when Tilia told her that there was a library, she actually thought she could moonlight as a spy again and try to get some info from the library. She stays dreaming big. We love her for that.
And I want you to know, I literally just picture Endor, and I'm convinced an Ewok will pop out at any minute.
Hear hooves, and I wrote we because we are all in this together. And Tilia shares its pony. It's a pony rider, not to be confused with the 1996 hit Pony by Genuine. So a pony boy is USPS for Tura. Tura. They ride hard, that's what she said, and swap ponies every stop in daylight hours. There's hundreds of them that stop at every city, town, village, encampment. It's just a true snail mail. So Odessa hatches a plan to get to know one and get some info about Alisaria. Once again, trying to think like a spy. It's not a bad idea, but wild because no one she knows trusts her. So getting some rando too, like I respect her confidence, but there's just no fucking way.
It's not happening, but
We
she's shooting
respect
her shot.
the game. She's just not going to win. They start heading to the library, but the Guardian chooses then to grace them with his appearance to remind Odessa that they have training. Odessa tried to get him to slow down, so he ignored her and went faster and told her that her stamina was shit. They continue with their banter until they get to the training area, and he reminds her not to fall on her ass. She does not succeed at that. Runaway Brain starts thinking about what kind of training did a man like the Guardian do each day? What strained the limits of his stamina? Killing monsters? Murdering foreigners? The Guardian shares that rangers and most Turans know how to wield a weapon. Timbermen typically train with an axe, others swords and knives. Children learn basic skills either from their parents or in primary school. Odessa then asks if he trained as a child, then assumed he was the hall monitor type. Turns out he was the opposite. He was Donnie from the Wild Thornberries. And just so we have an eye update during the water break, his eyes stayed locked on mine as he took another drink. They were hazel today, a mix of moss and caramel and chocolate, but I noticed a few flecks of emerald green and a few flecks of molten silver.
I just think it's funny that she thought he had hall monitor energy. Not one bit of the Guardian is hall monitor energy
Nothing
this
screams
whole
rule
time.
follower because in her eyes, like he's not even the prince, which I
No.
mean, obviously he is, but the way that she's seeing him like talk back to Xavier and all of that, like none of that screams like rule follower.
No. So she's not a good judge of
No,
character.
I don't think so.
She's been isolated a lot of her life. She doesn't
No one
know. She doesn't
trusts
have
her.
friends. But like hall monitor energy,
No.
Odessa. You read people as good as you do like trying to be a spy. It's not in the cards.
Odessa's guessing his eyes are his version of a mood ring. She sees his trendy leather cuff and that there were carvings in the grizzler leather, symbols and patterns, notches and swirls. She's nosy and asks what the engravings mean, and shit gets serious because he tells her that they are for the lives he's taken, and so he will never forget. In the great words of Dorinda Medley, seasons 7 through 12 of Real Housewives of New York, write it, regret it, say it, forget it. And the Guardian did not want to forget. Odessa starts asking about the other tradition, Starling, because she doesn't want to go back to being the Guardian's bitch during training. But he calls her out on her tactic and says, you'll learn our traditions in time. You'll find that they are simple, my queen, but our loyalty to our country, to our people, runs to the bone. She hears the threat loud and clear. She thinks he's going to 86 her from life. Boy, does she not know what's coming.
She does not know.
Not even a fucking,
Yeah,
inkling.
Not one. Do you think he got his leather cuff from Buckle?
Right next to is that Hardy hat.
Mm-hmm.
Those go hand in hand.
Chapter 2 to the 1. Odessa isn't a big fan of Trio. The trainings the Guardian is putting her through are absolutely brutal. She just hates him. You guys can't see me, but I
I tell my husband I hate him all
quotation
the
marks.
time. So
You tell
term
everyone.
of
You tell me
endearment,
you
so
hate me all
maybe
the time.
same sitch for her.
It,
In my
it's
world, it
not.
is.
You are bootleg Odessa,
I
so
just would never be an actual main character in a fantasy like book. I'm always the bootleg version. Like
do you think you'd
no,
be a good spy?
God, no.
I'm now picturing you on a scooter.
PTSD,
Spy.
Blakely. How dare you?
I know that's what. Time to go to God and Shade School. Each of the six lived in a shade, another realm that served as their home, a place one should go to endure eternity. We learned that the purest of heart was Arabella, the goddess of love. Her shade was light, the bright white of the twin moons, heaven. From there, the shades became darker and darker until they reached Isaac, the god of death, hell. Souls sent to Isaac were punished by the dark, never to see light again, as they were tormented endlessly by his
Sounds so
monsters.
sexual. By his monster.
No, I can't help it. That's just who I am. A slut. The guardian left her alone after training, so she walked back to her room by herself. So Odessa starts exploring. When she's out and about, she meets Cathlin, a sweet old biddy that likes hugs and is the current librarian. We learn that Cathlin was originally from Paris but lived in Alisaria for a few years, so we know the place exists. Odessa poked around the library trying to find books to help her spy mission. She grabbed some Tura books, a book about monsters, and then she grabbed a book about Quentis. The intro said, "Traitors, liars, thieves. I spent a year in Quentis and can, with absolute certainty, say they are despicable people." A Year in Quentis by Samuel Hay. Curiosity won out, and of course, she kept that book with her. I tend to believe Samuel Hay. Things in Quentis are not what Odessa seems. It's not what I meant to say. From these comments to the Guardian making the comment that they run from a fight, it makes you believe something is just not right with them, something wrong. I mean, and her dad is trying to invade another country and break a hundreds-year-old treaty, so they don't seem like they're
No, and like the
that
book
great.
says, traitors, liars, thieves. I spent a year in Quentis and an absolute certainty say that they are despicable people. It furthers my distrust for King Cross May. Margot's still undecided if she's like a bitch or, well, she's a bitch for sure, but we're not decided if she was for good or bad.
Yeah, if it's a neutral bitch, an evil bitch, or like a bitch for
Yeah,
good.
she right now she's a neutral bitch because we're not sure where on the placard. Yeah.
Yeah, where she lands. But May sucks.
Yeah, I don't
I'm
trust
back to all
her.
the way May
And
sucks.
Samuel Hay, like, really furthered that for me. Don't even know him, but it's your fault, man.
Samuel Hay. On her way back, she meets up with Brielle and finds out the girls were separated. She makes a mental note to bring this up with Xavier later. She spends the afternoon reading. The book about Quentis is really bothering her, though. In the book, he says Roslo was nothing but a cesspool of immortality and that her father was a murderer. He was behind more than one assassination attempt, including her mother. So it says it's no secret in Roslo that the day she died, he became a shell of his former self. She'd been the love of his life. Her ghost is what drove Margot to perfection. Did dear old dad become a shell of himself because he lost the one he loved? Or is it
Did
because
the
of guilt?
king kill her mother or sacrifice her for like the greater good? Or did, Mom 86 herself? Like, yeah.
Or is she still alive?
Maybe she went to those really tall mountains.
Maybe she's in Alisaria. And that's why the king wants to go there so bad, because that's where the mom is.
Okay, the mom being in Alisaria,
And that could be the thing.
I'm fucking into that. Mom being alive still.
The mom's in Mom's alive. The mom's in Alisaria, and that's the thing that could save the Crux.
Interesting. Yep, we'll
Just a
table
little off
that
the
and
cuff
get into
thinking.
that later.
So anyways, the Crux. Just FYI, males have auburn feathers and girls have black. So maybe her real dad was a Crux. Fuck the Golden King. Just fucking, I don't like Golden Kings.
She wrote JK, but she's like, no, I'm not kidding.
I'm not kidding.
Anybody who has a
Fuck that
Golden
guy.
King
He
title
sucks.
is super shitty. Okay, literally played a prisoner. The Oranos series, there's the Sun King who like has everything in gold, and he's shitty too. No, not at all.
It can't be trusted. Arinda and Aurelia, the twin moons. I just wrote it down as a note. That's what they're called. You're welcome. Odessa has a nightmare of a crux trying to kill Brielle. Honestly, the bitch probably deserved it. But she's awoken by sounds from outside. She looks down and there's a lion wick sharpening his claws on the trunk of her tree. Fear not, the guardian is there, except he didn't kill it. He let the lion wick go. She asked him why, and he told her he was busy tonight. She walked away and heard him speaking to someone else. He wasn't alone, and Odessa was a bit jelly about
Convenient
that.
that the lion wick chose to scratch its claws on her tree. Like calls to like. There's where I wrote it.
Mm-hmm.
I also like that they were like
Got
going
it.
back and forth, like, they were whispering, no, you kill it, no, you kill it, no, you do it. I think that would make
And he's
for
like, no.
a great part of a show for this book.
Mm-hmm. I've already been doing that now, like picturing like the fight scene, the montage. And then when we were talking about him walking away after killing him, like I was like, oh yeah, this is gonna be good. Like you said, like calls to like, or what we've been saying multiple times. Goes
The
to her
Fennec,
tree
the marrow wheel, the lion wick. That's why I'm saying, like,
later.
yeah.
And then there's
So,
the thing later,
and like,
it's her
obviously, they're out during their trek. They're out. There's monsters, but there's
right.
just a lot coming to her.
Okay, but like the mom being an
That's
Alisaria.
very fucking plausible. Like, what if she escaped? Like, he thought he killed her.
Yeah.
He thought he killed her. Margot
Didn't.
helped her escape to Alisaria.
What if he thought that he killed her with poison, but didn't realize that's not going to kill her, just like the daughter? And then Margot helped escape, and then she went to Alisaria. Then he gets word that that's where she's at, and they have to go try to find her.
Yeah, because otherwise, why is he so fucking adamant? That was the love of his life, but for some reason, maybe she like pissed him off or something. Maybe she took another lover.
Maybe just undermined him, or she found out the truth, like the truth of her real identity and what he could get out of her.
I think we could be. I mean, I say that for everything that like we're on to something, but I'm into this, really into this. And then Margot is actually a good guy. I do too. I want like her to be an evil stepmom, but she actually was helping her mom out, and that's why she was dyeing her hair and doing all of that for the greater good. But it just looks like she was just a shitty stepmom, like evil stepmom, like they're supposed to be. My stepmom is a saint; she's not evil. Chapter 22. The next morning, Odessa was greeted by Tilia's angelic face. They have this interaction. The guardian asked that we train together today if you're up for it. And if I'm not up for it, he told me to tell you that your next session with him would be twice as long and twice as hard. That's what she said. My lip curled. And what the fuck's wrong with me? Because she fought a smile. He said you'd say that too. And like I just made that joke. I'm upset that they don't exist in this fucking realm.
I can't help
But it doesn't exist in this realm. Like, there's no that's what she said. Clearly no flatulence. What else are they missing in life? Yeah, probably.
A lot.
Like bones.
They live in tree houses,
Yeah.
so.
What's their lighting situation? Is it oil lamps? Do they use just like wood?
I feel like oil lamps would be a little
How are they like
shifty in a
lighting
treehouse,
this?
right?
Treehouse situation.
I
Really
don't.
important questions. What's their light source?
You can ask Devney when we talk to her. By the way, we have nothing set up. We just started manifesting.
Odessa then asked about the lion wick from last night and if it was dead. They apparently just trapped it and released it elsewhere. Tilia explains that they are part of a chain, and that chain keeps the deer population in balance. Unless a beast is a threat, they avoid killing if possible. Everything is connected and always seeking a balance. Okay, so, oh man, I feel like it's an unhinged thought, but like, are Odessa and the Guardian a balance to the gods? That's why they don't have the Starburst, like from Amma and Oda.
I don't feel like it's unhinged. Like, if it's unhinged, we're unhinged together, which, I mean, it's like our whole brand. Mm-hmm. And we may be crazy due to Onyx Storm and our god's obsession from there, but I think there is something here. Rebecca and Devney are both romance girlies, and they are now turning into fantasy. And I just think Greek gods, every girly I know loves a Greek god story. especially with the romance. It's just the drams of it all, the
I literally
romance.
said to you today, like, I love stories about gods.
I know that's what it made me laugh because I'm like, I literally wrote that like a couple chapter every time.
Runaway brain, Odessa starts thinking, because she's got her runaway brain train. Was that why the gods have created the crux to balance the human population? To keep our numbers in check, to remind us that we were insignificant, to keep us at the gods' mercy. Then what regulated the crux? Were there other monsters out there, bigger and larger? Or did they die from infection or disease? Which I find them all to be really valid questions. Tilia shares that some monsters are killed on
Mhm.
sight, though like grizzers and bear wolves and anything feral. Odessa's like, the fuck is feral? Aren't they all? And I'm with her on this technicality. Like, they are technically all feral.
I agree. Okay, so there are 6 monsters that are talked about in this book, and then Devney showed 6 illustrations for said monsters. There are also 6 gods. What if a monster belongs to one of each of the gods? Like they can control each god. And the crux, I'm just because it being hell, maybe it's controlled by Isaac. It seems like the most hellish in my opinion,
That would make
but I don't know.
sense, Blake,
Something.
because, well, it would make sense since they made them to spite their parents for making beautiful creations that everyone
Mhm.
loved. In chapter 1, it says, but the pride and rage of the gods' children, and in a fit of jealousy, the new gods, the 6, made animals of their own. The 6 crafted predators in the image of Calandra's animals, though their variations were far more beautiful, far more powerful, far more deadly. And I wonder who created which one. What if Amma and Oda created the Guardian and Odessa as their own monsters to counter the 6s?
It's very possible.
Very possible. Anything's possible.
Just like it's just like a fated situation, you know? Like what happened to the Guardian was all kind of in and Oda up there doing shit to make that happen. And so the gods. I don't know. I've watched 1996 Hercules maybe a couple times. I've been up in the clouds doing shit. Or the mountain peaks.
I feel like we are, once again, I feel like we're on to something, but I feel like we are working in the right direction, like with gods and everything. I really do. Feel it in my bones. And then
Mhm.
Debbie's going to be like, absolutely.
And like 6 monsters, 6, and they crafted. What if they crafted in their own image, meaning like the things that those can do? I don't know.
Odessa thought Tilia might be easier on her, but absolutely not. No weak neck bitches around this joint. She does get a compliment that she is improving, but it's still not great. They take a break and call the water boy over, and he is not interested in Odessa and runs off. Odessa thinks it's her eyes, but Tilia tells her that they're different but very beautiful. And I wonder how many compliments that she's had in her life. Like, she changed subjects immediately.
Or maybe deep down she knows there's more to the reason of why she doesn't have a starburst and she was meant to feel like it should be a secret.
I
So
mean,
it's just like a
she could be
subconscious
keeping
thing.
secrets from us
But
too.
yeah, yeah, she's probably not a reliable narrator. Are they ever
So that's what
looking at
I'm
you,
saying. Like,
Violet?
maybe because Violet doesn't tell us
Yeah.
everything, so maybe she is hiding something.
And by the way, if you guys haven't read Onyx Storm, you need
Yeah,
to
that
because we
makes me
talk about it
mad
all the time.
if we
Also, we
don't.
have a podcast about it. Yeah. So you should go read it and then listen to us. But I don't know. But I also do get if someone compliments me, I don't take compliments well.
She asks about Xavier and if he's coming back anytime soon, but Tilia tells her that he's traveling from Paris to Elder. That's when she asks if she is being left there forever. Tilia just drank her water. And with that, Tilia ends their session. When Odessa says she can't wait for her next training with Tilia, Tilia calls her out and says she's a terrible liar. Odessa needs to take a page from the Turans and utilize silence. Odessa was making her way towards the commons when she heard hooves and saw the Guardian. He looked very pissed. She saw that mothers were collecting their children, rangers racing for the open square, when Tilia told her she needed to stay there and pretty much stay hidden. That's when she saw 50 men on horseback with no warning. There was a big ass stallion holding up King Ramsay of Tura, her new fam. The king stopped next to Tilia and asked if his son was there. She shook her head. Odessa starts getting a crazy idea that she can get to Alsaria through the king when Cathlin stops her. Smart gal. They continued to watch the situation when the king said to go and the soldiers were throwing books out to burn them. This included watching the library turn to ash. And just like that, the king was gone. the way my heart broke for Cathlin,
Just like,
like, in first reading this, I was literally shitting my pants for Odessa because I knew, like, she had shit to hide, but we know she's a clever girl. Once again, Jurassic Park reference.
I know. I know. I was like, you can't help it. And I
No,
was like, you cannot help that right now. But if history tells us anything, men of power burning books,
no.
not good
Anybody
people,
read?
you know? Golden Kings, book burners.
Fahrenheit. Odessa heads back to her treehouse and she realized her place had been searched too. They had taken her crown and disassembled her whole damn room. They broke her gross smelling hair dye, which is rude. She went to the balcony and walked to the back where she had hidden her satchel. Inside was her journal, coin, and a necklace, and they were all safe. Shout out to Tilia for the warning to keep her journal out of sight. Wrong sight. She's a real one. That's when she heard a chuckle, and the guardian saying, "Clever, my queen." Now the guardian knows she has something to hide.
I am a little shocked just because Odessa is just in her own world all the time. She seems like she would be like, let me put my journal underneath my mattress type of gal. Nobody will
Yeah, she
find it.
doesn't seem like we said earlier, her elevator didn't go to the top floor, but maybe for this it did. One room.
Well, or it's, yeah, maybe just a subconscious thing because
Yeah,
she
so
does
maybe
hide her necklace, at the castle. So maybe she just, if it's something that's important to her, she knows to hide it because she doesn't have any like autonomy and stuff back in her old life. She's got to have something for
yeah,
herself.
maybe
Nobody can tell her
she
what to
could be a
do.
good secret keeper, but nobody trusts her. Exactly.
She
We'll
knows
never
no
know.
secrets.
Well, she
Mm-mm.
knows one secret. She has
She's
Xavier's
not.
secret now, and she's keeping it because she doesn't want
Mhm.
to break their loyalty.
She does drop some eaves though. She does try to listen in on
Yeah,
things a
but she's
lot.
always caught.
Always caught every time. The whole book. In the beginning, the
That's why we
fisherman
love
like
her for
caught every
trying.
time.
A for effort. You're just not there, sweetie. So we met a new god this chapter, or this through these chapters.
Mm.
We met
Episode.
Arabella.
Hmm.
She's the goddess of love.
So our god roll call goes to Isaac, Hell, Daria, Luck, Kareen, Peace, Farius, Mischief, and Arabella. Love
Mom and
plus
dad.
Oda and Ama. Papa.
Yes.
Papa and Mama God.
Thanks for tuning in and joining us as we continue through the world of Calandra. We have new episodes every Wednesday. And if you love the podcast, please share to your stories and tag us.
Don't forget to follow us on social medias. And Avi, we love it when you write us reviews. I mean, good ones. I'll link for in our info, you giggle and gal pals. See you later.